in to Athletics LLC with Lamar, Lucious, Big League Chew, and my man Clyde, and the governor. You're about to be schooled in all things track and field. This is experience. Yes, sir. We are talking past, present, future. Y'all listen up. Let's go.
And they keep coming back to the tiles week after week. 2.5 years later, we're still here, more than 2.5 years. So welcome one, welcome all to Athletics LLC. We're back for another fun, informative, entertaining conversation, sometimes about track, sometimes not. So Lamar from afar, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm very good, doing very well.
Least amount of words you said that in response. That's awesome. Governor, how are you today, sir?
No matter what I do, she takes shots at me.
Pretty good. Just bobbing and weaving,
If that ain't the phrase.
This is the week that, every bit of debauchery that every colleague or everybody that's been involved with, this is where the sniffles, the coughing, and all of that stuff, this is that week. So you just, hey, buddy. Hey, good to see you. Hey.
Air high five.
Hey, air high five. It gives you meaning, this is the time. So, if I seem a little bit standoffish, it's nothing personal.
It's everything personal. Sir Lucious, how are you today, sir?
I am rolling. Everybody got back on campus Sunday, was ready for practice on Monday, and everybody came back healthy and ready to roll. So I'm excited. Can't wait till we get some guns going next weekend. I
know, fun times ahead. Fun times ahead.
Lucious, give it a week before the game phase comes on. I know it's particular.
It's developing.
Yeah.
That's funny. Slow evolution.
Yeah.
The only thing slow that Sir Lucious does. Do everything fast. Clyde, how are you today, sir?
I like the bobbing and weaving analogy, only I'm doing it in a different way. Sir, first world problems, they arrive on Sunday and it's a nice smooth transition into the week. They practice. Our people show up today. It's mostly chaos. I'm still in the office. So, the juxtaposition.
I look, so what I would like to say is maybe it's not a first world problem, maybe a first class problem. Yeah.
Wait. First of all, Clyde, both you and Sir Lucious, I'd like you to hold my beer. Our first day of practice is Tuesday, next Tuesday.
Yeah, that's not good.
So,
it's not good.
Yeah.
Again,
and we compete on Friday.
You've never heard me complaining about my problems.
There you go.
I like my problems because I have
first
very
world
few of
problems.
them. First class. Mm-hmm. I like that better.
Oh man. Well, let's just stir that pot a little bit further and jump into some topics. So with competition coming up, we've got some races in mind that we want to think that they're going to be faster. Let's talk about two individual athletes in specific. The past 2 years, we've seen Shelly Ann and Elaine run some exceptional times. Do we believe that either of them or anyone else can run 10:49 or faster? I know I'm referencing outdoors instead of indoors.
That's okay. That's the question.
Yeah, competition. Are we gonna see better 10:49?
No.
By them or anybody else? That was a hard answer.
I'm gonna be very long-winded here. No.
Okay, so let me at least entertain the thought of this, since nobody else wants to entertain it. And I'm sure when I'm done entertaining, that there'll be some walks around the block following this. But okay, so Shelly Ann ran 1062 last year, and Elaine ran 1054 the year before.
Mhm.
So let's say in a perfect world, both of them get back to that kind of form and show up in Budapest ready to rock and roll. Absolutely, somebody could run 1048 in that race. There's a lot of what ifs in there. But if Shelly Ann shows up being the rocket starter she is, and Elaine shows up being the very competent starter that she can be, and the closer that she is, absolutely 1048 could happen. Now, am I putting some money on it? Am I going to Vegas with it? Absolutely. But if the question is it possible? Absolutely, it's possible. I don't think there's anybody else that even see. And the other thing is, what's the other child's name?
Sharika
The
Jackson.
third one, Miss Jackson. Like, how much better is she gonna get? You know, because we forget that she ran 21.4 to 200. Right. So, like, does her 100 evolve like her 200 did, or does it stagnate at 10.7? Right. So
I think Sharika Jackson is much more likely to take down the 200 world record officially than anyone is.
I would agree.
So I'm about progressions, and if you look at Shelly Ann, the last 7 years, I mean, you're talking 74, 86, 98, 71, 86, 60, and 62, right? So, I mean, the consistency is there. Here's what I will say. Anybody knows Elaine and the way that she's wired. There is nothing that is motivating her more than what just happened in 2022. And injuries notwithstanding, she had a very bad year by her standards. So if anything, I mean, I can very well see a situation where she's trying to reclaim that throne. Now, I think it would have to be the perfect scenario. And what is the perfect scenario? Well, we all look at 1049 and we can talk about till we're blue in the face about the conditions, all of that stuff. We would have to see perfect conditions in the moment. And when have we seen that before? The last time we saw that, in my opinion, was what we just saw in the 100-meter hurdles in Eugene. Okay, so we're talking about a situation like that where Shelly Ann and Elaine are like at the height of their game right now. What are the odds that's going to happen? Slim to none. So, but it can happen.
Sir, when you say perfect conditions, do you mean like legal?
2.0.
Oh, so not 5.0 with
2.0 at
Well, you can't be
just
a record if it's
just
5.0.
above altitude. I'm talking.
So here's my question. Okay, so when Elaine ran 1054, what was the wind on that?
Oh,
It was legal.
I know, but like was it 19? Was it 20? Was it
let me
11?
find that.
Was it 0.5?
I'm gonna find that for you.
Yeah, that's gonna take a little second. But
Well, while he's doing that, I'll say this. Like I was kidding, not kidding when I said no. I mean, yes, can it happen? Sure, because everything is possible. But I'll just say this. Elaine was healthy, motivated, and had stuff to prove, somebody to shut up, right? And in a one-off race on one of, if not the fastest track in the world, she ran 1054.
0.9.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good job, guys.
Yeah, okay, first of all,
High five.
you know I knew that.
High five.
You know I knew that, right?
So I just, you know, I think at this point in time, there's such a small, tiny group of circumstances that could even make it feasible.
Lightning has to strike.
I think it's like trying to thread a needle from like
Yeah,
12 yards away,
absolutely.
right? Like it's possible.
Mhm.
I just don't think it's going to happen.
Would we all agree that it would be Elaine and not Shelly to do it?
I think it would be Elaine.
Yeah, because I think to do it, you have to be a finisher.
Yes.
Not just like not to listen. And I'm like, obviously I'm not taking any shots at Shelly. I just think you got to still be riding at the top end, all, like 90 meters down the track.
Yes. I could see like it would have to be a situation where Shelly Ann gets the start of her life and Elaine has the finish.
Governor, she gets the start of her life every time she gets on the track.
Well, like I said, like we're talking about perfect, like there's no possible way.
Everybody on this screen is very track savvy. Do we understand how close 1054 is to 1049?
Yes.
Do we understand that?
Absolutely.
Right? Okay, so, and again, I am not saying, first world problems is not saying that it's going to happen, right? But I'm not going to be shocked or surprised or anything like that if it does. For my main reason is because something you just said. Elaine's a very prideful woman.
Mm-hmm.
And she got smacked around pretty good last year. And a lot of
And
people don't know that
to her credit, she kept going.
Exactly. But see, she's not in that camp. She's back in the other camp now, in the 1054 camp.
Well,
we'll see.
If you leave and get your head busted,
you go back home.
Go back.
Yeah. And she just didn't wait 2 or 3 years. She just went back right away. So, but I mean, I agree with you. Like, I would definitely agree that it's not likely, but man, wouldn't it be awesome to watch?
Oh yeah.
I personally would root for it. I don't care who does it. I'm here for it. But since this has devolved into the what's not going to happen, and it is January 4th. It's our first show of the new year. I just want to get this out the way. The 4x1 is safe. I don't want to hear it. Don't text me, email me, Facebook me, DM me. Don't talk to me about the 4x1 record going down. I don't want to hear it. It is safe. Stop it.
There was a question about that already.
See, I didn't even know that. I don't want to hear it.
You do understand that you're going to be in Jamaica next week.
I'm cool with that. I've been saying it.
Okay, and see, and here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm saying to you. Like, I am not telling you the record's going to fall, but I don't say it with the same piss and vinegar that you do, because they are a lot closer to getting there than people realize. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
But again, do they have the firepower to do it? Yes, but it's not going to happen.
Okay, we're not going to dive down the hole with you. I'm just saying they're closer than people think they are.
So here's my question. We're talking about Elaine and Shelly Ann. We're saying that there is potential for it to happen. Where do you think that might happen next year? What track?
Well, see, okay, here's the thing. What are those obscure places they go to at the end of the year? Like when
Bellinzona, Rieti.
Yeah, places like that after Worlds.
Yep.
But the key is, see, both of them have to go.
Yeah.
And the problem is they can't afford to pay both of them. Right?
My thinking would be Lausanne. Like if Lausanne was able to put that together.
Yeah, after Worlds.
Exactly.
A week. See, because usually like when these really crazy things happen, like remember Wallace when he ran really fast in the 200, when Jet ran really fast in the 100. Like it's the last meet of the year. Wait, hey, when Arias broke the world record in the high hurdles.
Yeah.
He was just trying to 113 again so he can get a big bonus.
Yeah.
He's at the end of the year. He's not training as much. He's
in Brussels.
Unloaded in Brussels. He just goes and gets one, right? Yeah. So a situation like that, I don't think it happens at Worlds because there's too much going on. Too much going on.
Let's just put on 100 at Sestriere and call it good.
Yeah. Let's do that.
We'll just have
at the end of the year.
Yeah, run 100 like the last weekend of August.
And do it the way Carl did it. Drop them both out of a helicopter. Like Carl.
Yep.
The good old days.
I have too much Murphy's Law in me for that one. I already skipped a beat just thinking about that. All right. So talking about records and whatnot, and that wouldn't be likely at the World Championships. It has been discussed, and it is now a thing that World Championships is not going to happen in the indoor season this year. So with that being said, which of the indoor records, world records specifically, will be seriously challenged or broken, and by whom? Indoor specifically.
I'll go first. It's academic for me. Women's triple jump.
and I'll go second.
I was gonna say you can take men's pole vault.
Men's pole vault.
Look, that's how far you
I'll
both
take men's pole vault for $1 million.
All right. So does that mean, Clyde, are you going to take men's shot put?
No, I'm not gonna take men's shot put. I'm gonna take men's 60 hurdles.
See, that's what I'm.
Ooh.
I didn't hear the last word.
Good choice.
Like that.
Listen, I'm not going to take men's shot put because that's just too many no-brainers. I'm actually going to take men's.
They're all
60.
no-brainers, right?
They're all no-brainers.
Oh, wow.
Look, those three are all pretty much no-brainers. I'm going to take men's 60.
So I find the men's 60 intriguing.
I need a name.
Exactly. Yeah.
Come on, y'all. Listen.
No, I need a name.
I've been riding on this one for a while.
Okay.
I think I think year 2 of the return of Christian Coleman, with no championship to really go after. Absolutely.
Okay.
Where?
Absolutely. Where's USA's again indoors?
Spokane.
Okay. I listened to you tell me about how fast that track is.
Oh, it's fast. It's fast. It's fast.
I mean, don't none of us think he has to do it at altitude.
What say you, Sir Lucious? Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, about the 60?
Yeah.
Man, I see. Wow.
Speechless.
You know what?
I didn't see that one coming. I don't see it either. Like, again, don't get me wrong. See, here's the reason why. I think because there are no world indoors, that he won't. Let me say properly. Tim won't be as focused on indoors because he wants to make sure he's right for outdoors. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm not so sure about that.
So,
but I will tell you this though now. But if Tim sees something in training and says he's going to do it, he's going to say to do it now. But I don't think Tim's focus is going to be on that though. That's my.
And I'll just say this, right? In the years he's run the fastest in the 100, he's also run the fastest in the 60 indoors. Mm-hmm. So that's actually why I agree with you. Like, I think that they feel like they have to go after the first 60 again to get him back to where he was. But I don't know. Again, this is the whole point of this show, right? Is for us to speculate. But something just popped into my head. Do we all agree that Shelly Ann is the greatest starter on the women's side ever?
I would.
Sure.
I would.
So don't y'all think it's odd that she's never really gone after the indoor world record in the 60?
Not really. Jamaican.
But at some point, like, you just do it, right?
So again,
and most people that do the indoors do it for money, right?
Yes.
Sure. She don't need it.
She's got plenty of money.
But that's kind of my point. Like, she could literally. All right, I'm gonna go race this race twice. See if I can break the world record.
You're literally describing the difference between this generation and our generation.
I mean, yeah.
Running indoors was a big deal. Like, it's no longer the case. But here's an interesting point. To your point, Lamar. What did Christian Coleman run in the 60 in 2022? Does anybody remember?
Hold on.
6:48.
I was gonna say it's 40 something.
Clyde, take a guess.
I was gonna say 49. I feel like I know he broke 50.
Christian Coleman ran 6:41 in 2022.
Yeah, at Indoor Worlds.
He ran his second fastest time in
Oh,
his
I know it
life.
was that fast. Okay.
Yes.
So what happened in the final? Well, that was the final.
He got second in the final.
But I mean, was that the final?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Didn't,
So
didn't
was
Bracy
Jacob,
didn't Bracy run 45?
This
So
is in
You
Beograd.
should know
Where's
that you watched
Beograd?
it live.
I'm gonna say you was there.
He ran that in Beograd.
No, like,
That's March
like
19th. Huh?
no, like in the World Championships, what did Christian Coleman run?
Okay.
When Jacobs beat him.
Let me find it.
So the 641 wasn't at Worlds.
No, it was in Beograd. I don't know
Okay.
where's Beograd? That's a new one for me.
So I feel like that was right before Worlds.
Had to be because he didn't run it race afterwards.
Yeah, he wouldn't even come close to his top 10 mark at Worlds.
Okay.
He didn't.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he's not capable. It's his record.
Yeah.
But do I think
Is
he'll break it? I don't.
Is Beograd phonetic? Biograd?
Beograd.
I'm trying to think what other records are out there indoors that.
I mean, women's hurdles.
You see, that's where I was going next. And I've had some reports that the people, somebody that's seen her training, that's like they're more impressed with her flat foot speed than they are with her, like what she's ever been before. Like she's way faster than she's ever been.
Wow.
So Belgrade is known locally as Beograd.
Oh,
which means
okay.
White City or White Fortress.
I was wondering that. I was like, is this the same place?
Yeah. I just never seen it worded in
Printed
that. So
that
that
way,
was that
yeah.
World. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Interesting. Learn something new. You're welcome,
Mhm.
world. So we did ask for, we got the who's. Oh, there is no where. We were just putting extra on it. Just kidding. I lied. Lastly, so we've alluded to best starters and whatnot and what it'll take to win the World Indoor, or the 60, I should say, I'm sorry. What do you think is the greatest challenge to teaching acceleration, call it drive, whoever you want to cite at this point, the first part of the race?
Well, I sense, well, you want to take it? Because I was going to say,
Right.
we can jump into the Ps here.
That,
Right.
Yep.
And it's
Get your list out. Some more
single
Ps.
hardest thing to explain to a young sprinter, that you have to be patient. It is, the two do not go together. It's very, very difficult to explain to a young man or a young woman that yes, you are trying to run as fast as you possibly can, but you have to be patient. And it's, for me, it's something that, we can watch a video, we can go over and over and over, and it gets really monotonous because you're trying to get through that. You have to do certain things at point A, point B, point C, and you have to be patient. It will happen, but you have to be patient. So I'll start off with the P there.
And I'll back it up with another one: persistence. I think the biggest problem that you have, see, people want to blame the athlete, and the athlete's not always the problem, because the coach gives up when said athlete doesn't learn it as quickly as they think they should, or feel what they should, or whatever. So obviously it's got to be patience on both the coach and the athlete's part, but it's got to be persistent. It's got to be something that, it's an acquired skill. For most people. We have the circuit freaks that just walk out on the track. They were born to accelerate, but it's an acquired skill, and it takes time. And sometimes it takes more than a year before people perfect it.
Another first class problem there. That's another first class problem.
He said a year.
So I'll jump in there because I'll take a different tact. I think we're all gonna be some variations of the same on this from a track perspective. In dealing with baseball kids, I think one of the things you deal with, because we deal with this at a very novice level, I think, in track, it's just teaching them not to try to run hard, not to try to accelerate, but to accelerate, to actually be relaxed and let their bodies do things, as opposed to trying to forcibly pour the water in the glass and then just watching it splash in and out and make a mess, right? Like baseball players in particular like to run what I call hard, fist balled, shoulders up, tight as a drum, everything crossing the midline. And you're just like, I know you feel like you're doing a lot of work, because you are, but the vast majority of it is not going anywhere. Right. So it's just teaching folks who can apply forces how to apply them properly. There's another P word. Proper force.
What was all this splashing of water as we walked around the block again?
It's not. I did not even walk around the block. Stop dissing me like that. It's actually a good analogy.
Dissing you.
It's actually a really good analogy.
We're talking about acceleration, and we're in the swimming pool.
I always talk. Well, I'm going to explain.
Okay,
I always talk.
I apologize, sir. Let me be a good steward and let me listen. I apologize.
Look, I will explain myself. When you're dealing with younger folks, the example I like to give is you can pour water faster, but you still have to pour it smoothly, or else if you try to force it in, it just splashes in and out and makes a gigantic mess. That's exactly what happens with the forces we try to, in theory, apply to the ground. If A doesn't come before B, B become before C, and you have the patience for all those things to work in unison and work in the right time, right? You just make a mess, digging big holes in your brand new grass track.
Now, see, I like the water analogy.
That was much better than that.
I like the water analogy, and just because I am creative, and the governor ran with my original word, which is the obvious answer. Yes. I will sum all of this up by saying precision.
Precision, love it.
Yep. All that was said, scramble it together, precision.
Yep.
Okay. So, and here's the biggest issue that I find with teaching acceleration is that you can line up 100 people and they all want to teach it a totally different way.
Yes,
that's the problem.
Another P.
People.
No, but real talk, to Lucious's point, right? Terminology is one of the bigger problems, right? Like, so much of it gets lost in translation.
Or propaganda.
I mean, of course.
Well, so so the word that I like to use, emphasize in acceleration, is displacement. So you have to displace, right? That you're trying to displace the center of mass from point A to point B in the fastest fashion. But the understanding or lack thereof of understanding of what actual displacement is an issue. Just because your body moves
at its core is actually slow.
Yeah. And so I'm not trying to move fast.
And
so for that understanding or lack thereof understanding, that's what I try to do.
Another concept that's hard for people to grasp is the concept of everything done properly in track and field is done slow to fast. Everything is.
Yep.
And you're trying to go fast right away, just really a problem.
It's wide open and flailing.
Yeah.
There's soggy noodles everywhere. Well, good. I hope everybody was able to pick up at least one keyword or key.
Well, I have a question before we move out of the acceleration conversation. So, who do we, if you're going to use a model for acceleration, give me one male and one female that you're using, having people watch.
Ooh,
Okay, so that's an interesting question.
very.
And I'm sure I'll get some disagreement on this. We all have our models that we like. I try to find models that fit the human that I'm trying to show it to. For example, if I have one of my young ladies right now is almost 5'10", I'm not going to show
Wow.
because what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like she can't move like that. It's just, she can't. She's going to get frustrated. I'm going to get frustrated. So I try to find models that are comparable to the person. But to make this very good question simple, for me, it's two people on the men's side, Maurice Green and Marcel Jacobs. I love Marcel Jacobs' movement patterns.
Okay. I will say on the woman's side, I mean, I cannot get Carmelita Jeter's acceleration pattern out of my head. It is a thing of beauty. You know, and what's interesting to me about Carmelita was that I think she probably got it right maybe 5 times in her career.
Right.
And I think we were all along for the ride while she was searching for perfection. And it speaks a lot to her coach that, you know, she stuck with it. And when it happened, oh my goodness. Like I implore people to go back and look at her, like, let's take her 3 best races and tell me that isn't a thing of beauty. You know, and I every time I see Carmelita, like, I'll have to dap her up because beautiful stuff. As far as the men's side, yeah, I mean, was there anyone more consistent than Maurice Green?
Nope.
I mean, it's just amazing, and it was monotonous, and it was beautiful, you know, and having been victimized, I don't know how many times, running next to the guy. I mean, yeah. I mean, look.
I mean, Maurice Green and Carl Lewis for me.
Okay.
And honestly, Maurice Green more the everyman because of his stature. There's way more sprinters that are in the general vicinity of the 5'9", 5'10" range than the 6'2", 6'3" range.
Right.
On the women's side, it's not necessarily a person, it's races. Like, for sure, any one of Jet's top 3 races I really like. Look, as weird as it sounds, like Abby Steiner's race in Baton Rouge last year,
that was nice.
I can watch that race like 7,000 times. And I find something different I like about it every time. And I know for sure, like, that's whatever she did there, that's what they were trying to do every other race. She didn't do it anywhere near as well any other time.
How many sprinters can do that, Lamar? Like that?
Yeah. But that's what makes Maurice so odd.
That's the key to being an incredible sprinter, is being able to duplicate it. You know, I mean, I know I guess got to be a thing in baseball, right? If you hit the fastball, do you know how you hit it, or do you just take a blind swing at it, right? And got lucky. Because if you take the blind swing and get lucky, you're not very likely to hit it very many more times because you don't know how you did it. And that's the key to accelerations. You have to know how you did it to make it effective. And I mean, for me on the men's side, I mean, a guy that I don't think people talk enough about as being a great acceleration model is Asafa Powell. Jeez, I mean, he was as much of a machine as Maurice was, if not more so. You know,
Yep.
on the women's side, Jet's hard to argue with. You know, very much so. You know, and to open up a can of worms, FloJo was a pretty damn good at that.
And the thing is, I was gonna say Flo also. The only problem is like you only got like 2 races to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are the best
Oh,
ever.
well,
I mean,
I
rewind,
think the reason why Mo is easy to pick, right, is because like if you just tell the person you're dealing with, go home and watch video clips of Maurice Green, like you don't care what they watch.
No.
Right? From 639 indoors to 979 outdoors. I don't care. They look the same.
Yeah.
And that you said it quicker and probably better than I was gonna say it. Yes, and I don't mean this as a shot. It just is what it is, right? The reason that Osapa Powell doesn't jump to the forefront of people's minds, even though technically they probably should, is he never did it when it mattered.
Right.
And
Exactly.
so Maurice,
Cannot deny
like
that.
said, you pull whatever video you want. Once Mo knew what he was doing,
Yeah.
it always looked like that. For that record,
Right.
Otto always looked the same.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the
What's the theme here?
Those are 2 right there. Yeah.
These are mostly John's people, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, and since we're having this conversation, if you drop it down to a different event, the other straight line event, the hurdles, oh, I got one. It's Sally. It's Sally. In between the hurdles, you could pick other people over the top. Maybe you want to pick, but 0 over through 1, Sally every time.
Wow.
You talking about just 0 to the first hurdle?
Yes.
Okay.
Like Sally, it was precision every time. And I said, there's other things you could pick apart, right? But like setting it up correctly and blowing through the way you want people to, I'll take Sally Pearson.
That's the unfair part about Grant, right? Is you
No,
can't
you can't see Grant.
you can't show that to
Grant.
nobody else. Like this
Can't
is
use
how
Grant.
this looks perfect, but you can't
that's
do
how
that.
but that's I was going to say I'll take Grant on the men's side. We're just going 0 to 1. I'll take Grant Holloway for 2 million, Alex.
So I would take Grant Holloway videos from practice, right?
Yeah.
They're absolutely great. The problem is, you know that you're setting your pupil up for failure.
To my point. Like, you know, my athletes know that we know each other, right? Coach, can you give me a video of Grant? I'm like, I have videos of Grant. I'm not going to show you that. For what? It's just going to give you a complex. You can't do that. We're working on this.
You're just gonna hurt yourself.
The best my group ever gets is still shots of Grant.
The common question I get is, well, can't you get somebody to run with them in practice? Who?
If you stagger the starts?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
That
doesn't do him any good because we want somebody to start with it. Okay, so the other thing is this is like, okay, so we've all seen the video of him doing a start with Christian Coleman.
I was just about to say.
Right? The meet where Christian ran 640 something.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So who am I? Who started with?
Yeah. And the reason I throw hurdlers in there, if you're a numbers geek like most of us are, and you have access to the numbers, 0 to 10 meters, women's 100 and women's 100-meter hurdles. I got news for you: the hurdlers are 0 to 10 just as good as the sprinters are.
Mm-hmm.
You show me Grant's 0 to 10 meters on his way to the hurdle, I'll put that up against anybody running the 100. Like it has to be that good.
Oof. There are people who are talking to their screens right now. You know this, right? And typing or texting.
Patient, persistent. Yeah, get them precision. You know.
The patience part, I think, is what it just gets. It gets both coach and athlete in trouble. You know, the athlete doesn't have the patience to let the movements happen, and sometimes the coach doesn't have the patience to let it happen enough to stick with it.
And you have to understand, you just can't, just because you watch the Maurice Green video don't mean you're gonna look like him the next day. That's not the way it worked. Because we were all privy to watching the evolution of Maurice, because that Maurice he wasn't like that when he moved to LA. No, it took almost a year for that to totally click in. You know, so
Mm.
You know, I asked this before, like, has any man ever had the world record in the 60 and the 100 simultaneously besides Maurice?
No.
Not that I know of.
No.
Because at 639 and 979, he had them both.
Yeah. It's probably, if it did, it was probably, you know,
In the
in y'all's days. 99.
I don't think so. I mean, we know the evolution of the 100 world record, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
We know neither Carl nor Leroy had the world record indoors.
Bolt never had it.
Right.
Safa never had it.
So, I mean, I'm not
And
definitive.
we know good and well Calvin Smith never had it.
No.
All right. Well, send your text to the respective people that you want to yell at right now. Go ahead. Go ahead and push pause, and not yell by me, but yell but whoever we missed. So I'm going to ask this question real quick. Who do we think? So not who can be a better starter, but who is on their way to be a good starter, like is a movement away.
Wait, starter or accelerator? They're two different
Accelerator.
things.
I'm sorry. Accelerator.
Okay.
So not if we
here's
fix
the thing.
this.
And I'm glad you said that, because that's the issue. Because people want to teach people to be great starters, which leads to the whole, we want you to be a great reactor. Right? So see, contrary to popular belief, Joseph Fondley reacts to the gun well. He just doesn't go anywhere.
Displacement.
Yeah. What's the opposite of displacement? Anyway, let me get off Big Joe's back. Big Joe, JB, I love you, dog. I'm sorry.
It's displaced cement.
There you go.
In
So
place.
I think that. So if I'm thinking about people that they're a guy that I think is like literally this close to being a phenomenal accelerator, an accelerator pattern, Ronnie Baker. He's real close, in my opinion. On the women's side, see, I'm gonna be a meme someplace for this one, but like, there's nobody on the women's 100 I think in the U.S. that's doing it right now. Not a soul. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't really see anybody that's just executing what we all believe to be a great acceleration pattern. I don't know why that is.
I mean, the results would suggest such a thing.
But maybe the closest is probably Miss Jefferson, right?
I'll say Melissa.
She's just not consistent with it yet, but she's probably the closest to it.
And she's the youngest, so she's got time.
Yeah, right. But there's a lot of standing up and digging and spinning and.
The person who I like to watch do things, but again, she's not somebody you could tell somebody go watch this because of the lack of winning, is Talu. She's
wait on that one though.
She's very consistent, right? And I mean, and let's be honest, like even in the finals, she just gets fourth a lot.
Hey.
And there's no crime in that, right? Except for the fact in our sport, like if you don't get top 3, they act like you never did anything. But
unless something changed that I'm unaware of, year 2 is Talu LA with John. If you ask me to give you a sleeper right now, it's Talu.
I'm here for it. I want to see her get it done, man. She, like, if anybody ever, I would say, deserves a medal, it's her. Because she has been a soldier. She makes all, because the thing is, she's done all the things you ever ask somebody to do. Show up at the major championships, make the final, be consistent, run your best in the final. Like, all those things happen. She's just, she got a terrible birthday. Right? She was born in this same group of the Jamaican dominance.
Oh. All right. Well, I'm sure we have forgotten some, and we will be let known of that in the week to come. So
Good conversational pieces, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And have these conversations with your peers who surround you, because it might just be localized to who you have around you. So that needs to be your reference point rather than YouTube University. So
I mean, before we get off it though, I do want to say this, because sometimes we do say things that we really want people to get. Understand the difference between being an accelerator and being a starter, and use the verbiage necessary to create what you want, right? Like there's a difference between those two things, a big difference. And I think the improper verbiage like bogs the athlete down as much as the coach does, right? We all know what you want, but you got to use the right words.
And I want to piggyback off of that. And I think, see, here's the problem. Like, we hear terms, drive phase, max acceleration, maintenance phase. People throw those around a lot and they have no idea what they mean. Right?
or where they are.
So if you're going to talk to your athletes about that, know what you're talking about. Know what you're trying to get them to understand, but understand that they will never understand it if you don't understand it. That's the big key for me. Like, don't just go read a book and read these phrases and then go try to sound intelligent with it. Like, we've had some great athletes in this country, but I think there's a lot of people that get missed out on because coaches are too lazy to go learn and master their craft. And I'm gonna get off my soapbox and stop, because I was about to walk around the city with that one. So
I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that that's true though, right? I mean, we go back to year one. I said, if we put the science and the due diligence into winning medals that the smaller countries are forced to, we'd win all the medals.
Mhm.
Because from the athletic talent standpoint, we have all of the talent.
Mhm.
So I'm going to make a left-hand turn, and I promise this will be it of this, because we keep dragging this out. There's conversation even within USATF when we talk about the professionalism of coaching and the education of which entails professionalism, and that at the youth levels and the club levels and the whatever levels you want to, letters that you associate with them, that we have so many parent volunteers that we're not going to require them to have, at the minimal, in my situation I'm talking about, level 1 certification, just for the general understanding to use the verbiage correctly at the right time. So I think that's where our biggest separation is within the global athletics, meaning athletics as the sport, not like world athletics as the entity, and specifically US athletics. We're looking for bodies to fill holes to monitor rather than to actually educate at the very minimalist of levels. So I think that's where part
I
of
want
it
to say
gets
this,
lost.
and I know I get accused of being a level basher, and I am not a level basher. Let me start off by saying that. But let me back that up by saying that the problem is that people attend a level 1 school or level 1 class, I should say it, and they get the certification, and now they're professional coach and they know how to do everything. And that's not the object of continuing education.
No,
it's not.
No.
And I think that's the problem, is that, I think we've talked about that. We beat this horse to death. Like, education is required, but one course does not make you an expert. Like,
so the funnier part,
I will say this because I'm the guy with the first world problems. I strive to learn something new every freaking day. And you know how you learn? If you just go to practice and you just put your eyes on your athletes and you watch them move. That's all you gotta do.
I mean, I agree. As the youngest one, I did level 1. God, what year was that? 2007. I was just a few years out of college, and I was blown away by how remedial it was. Like, I was at level 1, like, wait, y'all don't know this already? Like, I'm confused, right? Level 2 was amazing. And then 3 in the USATF world is level 5 IAAF. That was even more amazing, right? But and I don't know how it's evolved over the years, and I'm not involved with teaching it, but if it's still as remedial as it ever was, Lucious's point is that much more irritating, because it's like, how can you go to that thing 2 days, maybe it's on Zoom now, and then you have the audacity to walk out as if you're not, like, now, like, pump your brakes, like, go get involved and produce some results, and
well, and that's the hard part, is that sometimes we get their feedback that it was too general, and the comment back is, because this is the taste test, this is your aperitif, now you need to move on to the entree. And so, like, it's amazing, because there's acknowledgement, maybe that's the word I want, in regards to that, because my comment derives of just the basic education, not necessarily the levels. I reference the levels because that's what I'm involved with, but the basic education movement, right? And maybe you don't know the science, and I'm asking for terminology and Greek roots and all these things, but the ability to speak about how you want to move your body across the track in this angular position, So, but yeah, that's just part of it. And there was a whole discussion on that, and we started that way back into 2020. Was that when that was? 2020. But I mean, that can be evolved and discussed in different avenues, definitely, for sure. So, but now for the fun part. The governor, you are up, sir.
All right.
See, I think this one's going to be fun.
I'm shucking and jiving now. So again.
Oh, governor has the see-through mask. The cover guard. That's what I think right now.
Oh, that's totally me. Totally.
All right. Would you rather? You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather give out per diem in cash or electronically?
Oh my God.
So, like, via Venmo, Zelle, whatever, Cash App, whatever.
I'd rather give it out.
Yes, like, you yourself.
Yeah. Would you rather cash it out or Venmo it out?
Cash? Are you kidding me? Come on now. Say less, please. Say less. Cash is it.
All right. Would you rather deliver a presentation via Zoom or in person? I'm asking because the TTFCA is coming up, so that was on my mind.
In person.
Got it. Would you rather run a straight or a turn on the 4x1?
Oh,
third leg all day. Love third leg.
Oh, interesting. Interesting coming from a jumper who runs straight.
Yeah. I don't know. I loved being, because it's one of the most underrated actual skills that you can do in track and field, in my opinion. It's
Kareem is also afraid of himself running straight.
Well, I don't get it.
Go back and watch any, and I mean any, of Kareem's long jumps, and you will literally see when he shuts off the gas.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I get that. Okay. I didn't get it at first. Got it. All right.
He's like, nope, that's fast enough. Right here.
Would you rather circle the parking lot for the perfect parking spot or go straight to the back of the lot?
So that's an interesting question, because anyone that's ever driven with me will know that I will go straight to the front of the parking lot and I will find that spot.
That spot exists, and it was there for
it
me.
Exists,
right?
And I will find that spot. That's me.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That is the right answer.
So this one is from the audience. Would you rather skateboard or snowboard?
Okay, so are you saying would I rather be adept at it or would I rather try it?
Okay, have you done either?
I have been on a skateboard.
He's rolled.
And I
Okay.
move very slowly.
Um,
I
I
would like to try snowboarding. I would. Yes.
Yeah, it seems like fun. I haven't done it either. All right, last one. Would you rather eat a corn dog, a hot dog, or a bagel dog?
Bagel dog.
Shout out to the bagel dogs. They
Spicy
don't exist
mustard.
anymore.
I know.
With an everything bagel on the outside.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Yes. Where did they go?
I don't
That's
know.
what I want to know.
I don't know.
We need to go find them.
Yeah. State fair? I don't know.
I know, right? All right, gentlemen, the floor is yours.
I can go first. You can only listen to one of these artists' catalog for the remainder of your life. Would you rather listen to Biggie, Tupac, Drake, or Eminem? Nobody else.
I would have to go with Biggie. I'll go with Biggie.
You're wearing them 2 albums out.
Absolutely. And the posthumous
And the features.
and the posthumous.
Yep.
Yes.
That's funny. Sir Lucious or Clyde?
Yeah, he's a tough one.
Yeah.
So would you rather be a head coach or director of track and field in the Big 10, the Big 12, the SEC, or the ACC?
Wow.
I'm sorry, or the Pac-12.
I was like, the Pac-12 is not in the running.
I'm sorry.
I thought you were going with conferences he's been in. I was like, that's close to like
He's
everyone.
disrespecting the West Coast.
I apologize.
Listen, the Caymanian is not moving to
So
the West
which
Coast.
of
Let's
the
just
Power
call that
Five
what that is.
conferences, I can't even talk tonight, would you rather be a director of track and field or head coaching? And why?
Oh boy. So first off, we're talking about first world problems here. So where would I rather have this first world problem? It'd have to be down south. And I mean, wow. I would say SEC.
My man.
SEC. Absolutely. Yes. And why?
It just means more.
I was just gonna say that. Dang it. I couldn't get it out fast enough.
Yes.
And
It just means
it just means more. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Clyde, go ahead. I'm sorry. I couldn't help. I apologize. I couldn't help that.
So you have to blame yourself for that because he wasn't petty until we started doing this show.
Oh my God.
Literally threw my train of thought off. That's nonsense. It's not a would you rather.
Okay.
What is your, not you the athlete, you the coach, what is your favorite indoor venue to compete at?
My favorite indoor venue to compete at is Arkansas. I mean, just magical things tend to happen in that place. You know, I can say that I got a taste of the SEC meet in Arkansas. Sir Lucious remembers that. Yeah, I mean, it just means more.
Can I
Wow.
throw in a bonus question?
Okay.
Quickly.
Obviously, it's been well documented that you were a truly historically elite long jumper. So I think you have the wherewithal to answer this question for many others.
Okay.
Which mark do you think is superior? Carl Lewis's indoor world record in the long jump or Mike Powell's outdoor world record?
Stop right there. Stop. Stop right there.
Educate the world.
Okay. I mean, not only is Carl Lewis's indoor record never going to be broken.
Nope.
Okay. If they did a 30 for 30 to talk about what led up to that world record and what actually happened that night, like, people don't even understand that Carol took plywood and added it on to the end of the runway so Carl could fit his approach on. Because the venue was way too small, first of all. And not only that, if anybody looked at where he landed,
yeah.
I mean, we're talking about literally, he literally almost committed suicide.
It was definitely a suicide mission.
So yeah, I mean, will we ever see the likes of that? No, sorry.
I mean, 28 feet indoors is so far.
It is.
And to be 28-10?
Yes, absolutely.
Chew,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, because the next time we get the governor on Would You Rather, this will be way too long gone. So I have to ask him. The NFL playoffs are around the corner, sir. Would you rather the Cowboys head to Tampa Bay to face John Wick or anywhere else?
I would rather the Cowboys go to Tampa Bay.
I love it.
I want this to happen.
Exterminate John Wick.
Oh my God. Ugh.
3 or 4 interceptions later. That's what I'm.
Wow. Noted.
Oh my God.
That's so good.
Chew, I don't know why we're even having the playoffs, because another 49ers are going to win the division, right? The
I mean,
NFC. So why would have it, right?
Very
mean,
likely.
Yeah.
Oh, but this is why we're having the playoffs. This right here.
Philly is teetering right now. Like, the fact that Dallas is still in the picture to win, like, what?
All I know is this. They done messed around and let that bad man back into the playoffs. And not one soul wants to play the Packers right now.
Nope.
What?
Okay, Chew, let's not.
All right, I know.
Next
Bang,
week.
bang, Niner gang.
Next week.
All right. So last but definitely not least, always giving out some props when we can. Heartbeat props. Shout out to those who can hear them and receive them and enjoy them. I'll say recently, and this was even going into the last episode, so I apologize for the timeliness of it, but it just keeps popping up on my timeline. The 5 female athletic administrators in the MEAC, it just looks good. So shout out to them on doing it right and being there. And I understand from conversations that I've had with some administrators that that's what the MEAC does. And I don't care if that's what they do. It looks good and it looks good on them. So
maybe it just means more to them as well.
I mean, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Right. So I love it's not a concept. I love the hires. I love what's going on. And maybe there's some intertwinings that I don't know about and they're not the greatest, but they're in the position to succeed. And that's the first part of it, is being put in the position. So ladies, hats off to you and rock it out.
I'm going to keep mine pretty short. Shout out to TCU. I can't
Go
help
Frogs.
Go Frogs. That was
unreal.
Unlike all of you, I can make bets. And I told you all, listen, there are a couple people who live in the Midwest who would not stop talking to me. They were talking trash during the game. And I kept telling them, bring me my money.
Are you betting again?
Several $100s later, I can't find any of these people who want to bet me again. Right? Because look, where the real money would have been, right, is if you took 2CU from the beginning, because the odds were 1,600 to 1.
Wow.
Right? So if you had bet some money 2 weeks ago, you are nervous right now. Like you're like, oh my God.
Here's what I will also say, and I'll pay homage to the state of Ohio. I think the blueprint for beating Georgia has been put out there.
Right.
It is quite literally just go watch the game and you will see the blueprint to beating Georgia. It is pretty simple. Now, can you execute it for 4 quarters? That's another story, but man, it's pretty clear.
It'll be interesting because look, there's a lot of athleticism that's going to be on that field.
Art beat props.
Anyway, my heartbeat props are actually on the football field. My heartbeat props not only go to the obvious of Jamar Hamlin and his family, but honestly, it goes to the entire NFL family. I watch very intently Booger, Ryan Clark, Shannon Sharp, like people who gladiators that played this game who've never seen anything of that nature happen before. Like the entire league is hurting right now. And, you know, the one thing that the NFL football players and NFL league in general don't ever get is our sympathy, is our prayers, right? And that entire group of people probably need, you know, emotional support and conversation that they've never actually had before. And I don't mean the entire group of the Bills or of the Bengals, the entire league, because the truly innocuous and subtle nature of the incident, I think, is what is causing the entire league to take pause. Like that hit happens 100 times a game in every game. So that's my thoughts on the week.
Mine is in the same arena. I mean, I think we all heartbeat props to Mr. Hamlin, and who looks like he's further along today than he was yesterday, and that's all anybody can hope for, right?
Yeah.
But in all of this, I think the people who aren't getting enough props are literally the first responders who saved his life.
Yes.
And these people, not just those people on that day, but these people in general, coast to coast, regardless of whether they work in sports or just everyday, you know, firefighters and you know, ambulance EMTs, like these people are amazing. And make no mistake about it, Damar Hamlin is not alive if not for the incredible work of those first responders.
Yeah.
It's those people never get enough credit. They never get enough attention, and you know, heroes across the board, every day, all of them. And you know that we are all fortunate that they so happen to have been there doing their jobs in the elite way that they do them, because no one needed to see that kid die on the field.
Yeah,
it's those people that prevented that from happening. And I don't know if anyone's seen the video. The hospital really hasn't released updates, right? But his uncle came out. They had to resuscitate him twice, once on the field and once when they arrived at the hospital. So listen, CPR is something anybody can learn. It's usually free to learn it. We all are required to because it's part of the job, but learn how to do that stuff because you just might end up in a situation where you need to save somebody's life.
So, Sir Lucious,
Mhm.
I don't know what you're going to say, but it would not rest. It would be, I have to say RIP to Eric Thomas.
Yes.
I don't know if that was what you were going to say.
It wasn't, but
Okay. But,
well, it was part of it, but go ahead.
okay. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about someone that, you know, he was at Blinn when I was at Rice, and, you know, he made several USA teams, great friend. There was nothing that was more enjoyable than watching Eric bounce off of Calvin Davis. Those two together was, I mean, they could have had their own sitcom, in my opinion. I mean, it was just, but yeah, I mean, the suddenness of it, the circumstances, coming off of hip surgery, and, you know, everything that led to it. I mean, it's still shocking to me. He was a pillar of the community in Houston, and the effects, you know, of his loss will be felt for years to come. So, heartbeat props. Rest in peace, Eric Thomas.
Well said, sir. You know, I know it seems like I'm beating this horse, but I'm gonna talk about mental health again. I, in the last 2 weeks, have had 2 people within my extended family try to take their lives, and you know, we have to pay attention. We have to check on our people. We have to listen to their cries for help. And I know it's hard, and we get caught up in our own lives. But if there's somebody out there you love and you care about and they're acting different, man, let them cry on your shoulder. You know, learn to let people lean on you so they don't fall. But you know, we hear these stories every day, and it's hitting close to home. And I just need you to check on your people. You know, listen to them. You know, you never know. One phone call, one text message may save a life. You know, so don't be afraid to reach out to people. Let them know you love them, and let them know you're there for them if you need.
Amen. All right. Well, with that said, thank you, gentlemen, for your time this evening, for your knowledge, and for your words. But other than that, everyone, I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you again next week. Bye, everyone.
When the lights come on, the road just get to running. When the lights come on, opponents smash the plumbing. Heard you like it warm, hot, knife the butter. Truth hit them hard, knock them off that rebuttal. Tsunami, tidal wave to your puddle. Tough love, punch you in the arms, little brothers. Athletics LLC, there's no others. Track and field's place and we'll peel to go further. Hey, Wally, Coyote, it's road runners. Feels like you know us, you've been with us the whole summer. If not for this quarantine, these 4 corners wouldn't be here, but we here, so start learning. You gotta earn your stripes, gotta get your scars. Show you how to fight, but show us who you are. You lack experience, but still you wanna talk. And who is actually talking to you? Circle's kinda small. Heads prevail when the backbone's strong. Gotta keep it coming, no, it won't last long. Pass and fail, then sell the sad song. And if you don't check yourself, then that's wrong. Just trying to give you the real that you asked for. So why you keep cutting us off to ask more? We put it in slow-mo, but you fast forward. Athletics LLC, the task force.